And Chess.com is here with the new U.S. chess champion for the 2018 year, Grandmaster Sam Shankland. Convincing win today against Wonder Liang. Now, in your game, I saw you pacing a lot more. Was that confidence or nerves?
Probably more confidence. I got a very pleasant position out of the opening. I wasn't really getting much with white this tournament. I guess you could say I got a lot against Fabiano, but it's kind of because he improvised in a position he shouldn't have. But this was the first time with white that I actually sort of brought the hammer down and got a really good position. And then I thought he made some very poor decisions. Not so many. Maybe just b6 was the one that just sort of stuck out like a sore thumb. And after that, I don't want to say I was cashing my check, but I was very confident.
Myself and some other spectators noticed before the game even began, you looked different. Your demeanor was a little different. Did you feel a lot more nerves than you ever had before in your life?
Before the game began, I felt pretty nervous, but once it started, like any other game, I'm just able to focus and cross everything else out. So I don't think I was especially nervous while I was playing, maybe a bit before, and I didn't sleep too great last night, but yeah.
Understandable. Now, until I talk to a Wonder, I'm not going to know for sure, but it seems like he played e5 to try to surprise you, but you played h3 right back. Did you win the psychological battle right at the beginning of the game?
Well, sure, and in addition, this Caro-Kann line is reasonably quiet, and I sort of had a feeling that it's a little uncomfortable for black in the quieter positions, but e5 is a very direct move, and if you get hit with some surprise in a reasonably quiet position, there's only so much damage it can do to you, but in a position as sharp as e5 after h3, it's already very hard for black to react. He's got, there's even like weird knight a5, queen c2, and like bishop d1 is even a move. These are very hard moves to find, and it came very quickly, and the price of a mistake is extremely high, so I'm sure he was feeling some pressure.
Well, I was going to say that you're the first non-2700 to win the U.S. championship since Yuri Shulman, but that's not true because you became a 2700 at the exact instant that you became U.S. champion. So what did you think was more unlikely going into this event, that you'd break 2700 or win the title?
Definitely that I'd break 2700, because if I break 2700 and don't win the title with +6, I don't even know what the heck to say. Last year +3 won this tournament, so if you told me, look, you'll win this tournament with +4, but you won't break 2700, I would be thrilled, but it's not totally infeasible. But if you told me you will get +6, hit 2700, and you will not win the tournament, I'd be like, really now?
Indeed. And actually, speaking of +6, only one other man has finished with 8.5 out of 11 since this tournament went to a 12-player round robin. That was Fabiano Caruana in 2016, so you're in good company.
Well, yeah, he came very close this year as well.
Have you booked your ticket to Batumi yet?
Not yet. I still have to work on my travel arrangements, but I'm pretty sure I qualify for the team now.
You didn't use very much time on your clock. Was there any moment that you had to pause, or was it just a matter of figuring out what was the cleanest way to win?
I don't think my position was winning right out of the opening or anything, but my moves were pretty straightforward. I just have to fight for the e5 square. This much I sort of knew before the game, and all my moves just felt very straightforward. I sort of had to think a bit about when to play queen a4, because for example, I considered after bishop g7 just taking on c6 right away and then knight e5 to go knight f3, but he has bishop takes e5 and knight takes d4, which I think I missed. There's all sorts of moments like this. But for the most part, I thought my play was pretty straightforward. I don't know if it should be enough to just win the game or anything. I think he can offer much more resistance if he doesn't play b6, but I thought my moves were not wildly complicated, so I guess that's why I didn't use that much time.
And yesterday you said you weren't going to watch Fabiano Caruana's game that much, but I saw you going by a pretty good amount. Was that just because you were so confident in your position?
Yeah, pretty much, and I was just trying to dream up a way for Alex to have some kind of compensation for the pawn, but I just couldn't do it. I sort of knew what the score was that I had to win, but the position I got, I'm playing for a win every time anyway, so yeah.
At what point in this tournament did you believe in your heart you could win the title?
Probably when I took the lead after round 9. With 2 games to go, and I was ahead of the field, and I had, what was that? That was Onestchuk and a Wonder left, and Fabiano had Jerabuk and Onestchuk, so his schedule was probably slightly tougher, and then I was a half point ahead. I felt like it was possible, and I still didn't think it was likely, but I thought it was possible.
You didn't even shake my hand at the opening ceremony, and it wasn't because you were being mean. You were pretty sick. Are you surprised that you played so well, being under the weather?
Yes, very pleasantly surprised. But funny enough, I've got this lingering cough and runny nose that have just been going even till now. It's a really persistent bug, but those are the only symptoms. No headache, no fatigue, nothing else. I wouldn't be surprised if they annoy my opponents more than they annoy me, because I'm blowing my nose and stuff. It's certainly not intentional, but by round 3 or 4, I didn't feel physically great, but I didn't think it was hindering my play. So, rounds 1 and 2 maybe, but.
You're a homeowner. You can could do something boring like pay down your mortgage with the 50 grand, or do you have bigger plans?
Well, if you can pay down a California mortgage with 50 grand, I don't know where you're living. But, I mean, I'll be a little bit boring. Some amount of this 50 grand will be going to the IRS, some to the mortgage, some to the S&P 500, and maybe a little bit to Grey Goose.
Fair enough. Hope to join you in that. I know you're not going to tell me if you're going to help Magnus's upcoming World Championship, but did your rates go up for the next person that calls for lessons?
I'll have to think about that. I don't know, probably, but they're already so high. I don't know how much more they can go up anyway, but it's good because like the students I have who are willing to pay this, they take it very seriously and they work very hard, and it's really worth it for them. And yeah, so I don't know. We'll see.
Now, Amon Hamilton famously did not shave his beard until he became Grandmaster, but you shaved right before the big game, so does that mean you're not superstitious?
Well, not really. I'm not. I do have one superstition that this here is my lucky shirt, which I've now worn 4 times this tournament, so hopefully I'm not smelling too bad, but I've never repeated another shirt. But this one, I thought the game merited it. As for shaving, I shaved this morning. I don't want to say I was punching my ticket or anything, but I thought there was a chance that I would win this tournament today, and I didn't want to look homeless when it happened.
Final question, first drink, Grey Goose, you going to have that neat, or are you going to mix it with something?
Mix it.
Fair enough. All in due time. I'm sure you deserve that first drink. Congratulations, the 2018 U.S. champion, Grandmaster Sam Shankland.
Thank you.